Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chop Talk. I am your co-host, Andrew C. Right over here, it's the wonderful Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I am doing great, Andre. It's been a very interesting weekend. We had the Rumble yesterday. Had a friend over to watch that. Got to watch some Stardom after too. It was really nice. Company left this afternoon. Had a great back day. Triceps are killing me today too. That's good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I had went to a great wrestling show on Friday that we're going to talk about. Watched some Rumble with some friends over Discord. I watched it on my TV, but we were talking over Discord all night. Then I got to
Mhm.
do hang out with our friends over at SNME Radio and do the Royal Rumble post show over there. That was a great time hanging out with Boris and Dax, just chatting up the Rumble. It was a great time, man. And now I'm here to talk with you, and I got
Yes.
football going over in the other over. I can kind of see the TV and watching football. I have the football game on. Yeah,
Multitask.
multitasking.
Oh dear. Forgot football's on. I'm also not very much of a more sports fan than professional wrestling. If I can do it, I'd rather do it
Hmm.
than watch it. But that's just a Melball. Who knows? She can't wrestle.
I'm a watcher, you know.
You're a lurker.
I'm a lurker. Yeah, that's it. Sounds
We
just
certainly
wrong,
were
but
lurking in these shows. We had like some balcony seating, hanging over like vultures, just watching the show.
yeah, there's some people. I know our friend Eric had interesting seats in the house for LPW
Oh,
22.
yes.
Yeah, some of the sight lines up in the top half aren't the greatest, but it's still a great
Mm-mm.
venue. It's like again, and even at top talent, sometimes if you're in the back of the crowd, the sight lines aren't that great because you're just seeing the top of the
No.
wrestlers. So
That's why we shell out the big dollar bills to sit VIP.
VIP baby.
Yes.
Spencer push Princess Rain in the glass. I love that guy. I love him putting this
Yeah.
right there. Uh, but
Yes.
once we are talking about it, let's get into it. It's LPW 212. I
Hmm.
don't know about you. That's the tagline for this one. I don't know. I like next month's
I
tagline
don't
way.
know about you either, boy. I'm saying.
I like next month's tagline Slamboat Willie.
Yes, that was a fun one. That's a fun one. We'll get to
Yeah.
that at the end of this, though.
I didn't put the graphic in though. I'm a dumbass. Even though it's a great graphic, I didn't put the graphic in.
Tisk tisk.
Tiska tiska. Yeah. So LBW 22 face of Larry fucking Larry on the
Talking
poster.
Larry.
Fucking Larry on the poster. Let's get into it. Seven comes out, interrupts Spencer on his opening monologue, which we didn't get mad at. Because Spencer tends to talk a lot. We love him, but he
He
talks a
does.
lot. So
Once he gets going, it's a going.
Seven says they're the greatest. Don't worry about them missing TJ. I was just like, boo! I wanted to boo TJ, but yeah, TJ's not there. But they're both in this scrambled championship match, and
Hmm.
Mars is there to help him probably protect that title and keep it with Seven. So we're gonna get into that match.
Hypothetically speaking.
Oh yeah, he's there as an insurance policy for Jack Pride.
Sure.
We get into it. It is Jack Pride versus Mars the Specialist versus T.Y. Jackson versus Sheik Shabazz versus Michael Allen, Richard Clark, all the posings and he does. Yeah. Versus the returning Jody Threat from
Yeah.
Impact Wrestling. Really fun match. I took a few notes for this one. Birat and Sheik catch Mars when he does a Fosbury flop. Then TY does a Tope Con Hilo over the top onto all of them.
Hmm.
Jody then gets a beer, drinking and it's like drinking a beer. She climbs to the top rope, swantons onto everybody, spilling beer everywhere.
Think it's the
Um,
children.
yeah, and then she stands up, still has beer and drinking beer, and Pride just rocket suicide dives her onto the floor. More beer going everywhere. I was just like, holy crap.
Glorious, glorious chaos to start off the LPW show.
Very much so. Michael Richard Clark has is on the stage and has a kid like Irish whip him into Sheik on a chair and he boots in
Yeah.
the face, and then then the kid does push-ups.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was asking if he wanted to do push ups, but the kids wanted to do the push ups more than he did.
So Sheik's on the ground, so he drops Barat on top of Sheik, and he's going to do the push-ups on the two of them. And then Thad comes over. He wants to do the push-ups, and some people are booing. I'm like, let him do it. And he ends up tripping Thad, puts Thad on top of the pile, and he does 20 push-ups on top of the pile. Yeah,
Elevated, they're a little bit harder sometimes.
fucking just planking's hard enough, let alone push-ups. Oh,
Bro, getting up some days is just hard enough for a girl.
I still hurt from planks on Friday, man. Rich King kills me when we train, man. Ugh.
That's what you pay him for.
It's true. It is very true.
Back to the match.
Yeah, there's a beautiful inverted superplex by Sheik to Michael Allen, Richard Clark in the ring. Looks so good. Jody and Michael Allen, Richard Clark working there together was a fun little spot, and together just have that little thing. She come like, I don't know if I should fight you, if I team up with you. And then she gets the pin on both members of Seven. He's like, no. And just yanks her off. I was just like, that's pretty funny. Michael and Richard Clark, beautiful BME onto TY Sheik and Pride in the ring. Looks super good. And then a spin out Death Valley driver by Michael and Richard Clark, but Mars pulls the ref out. He had the win there. The end of the match, though, TY hits the O face or the Eclipse to both of Seven. And then he hits the Swanton to Mars. And TY finally gets LPW gold because he is your new Scramble Championship. This man now has 2 multi-person titles.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the Scramble champion here, and he's the king of the triple threats over in Top Talent. So it's the master of the multi-man match.
Yeah, TY making a name for himself, working a bunch of companies in Alberta right now. These Scramble matches have become like my favorite thing to look forward to at the LPW shows, just because the glorious chaos is surprisingly organized. These matches are very, very good. I don't know if it's because the level of experience that the people have going into it or what it is, but I just love and look forward to these matches. Seeing Jody wrestle again was a treat. I love watching her live. Saw her a few times at the Top Talent show as well. Yeah. What else? What else am I remembering? Sheik Shabazz pulling out his running, jumping European uppercut in the corner things that he does. I love those. And was actually hitting them from halfway across the ring ends. Yay!
Yep.
Taking those big leaps and bounds. Also rocking some sparkly, darkly gear.
Oh, those
like that gear.
Those new boots are phenomenal.
So shiny.
So sparkly.
It's like a magpie going, ooh, look at the sparkles. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. The Jinja Ninja was certainly kind of ninja-ing throughout this one. Mars popping in and out. There was a point he was kind of that person in the match that I would forget was in it. I felt like he wasn't like as big as a spotlight. Not a very good insurance program either for Mr. Pride.
He broke up a few pinfalls for Pride. That Pride was
he took the fall. He lost the match.
I guess he was the insurance policy to get rid of the title, I guess.
I was going to say, as much as he was an insurance policy to ensure it stayed on Pride, it kind of ups the probability of the title loss.
Yep.
Now look at us. We're having fun.
In reality, Pride should have kept him out of the match, just had him on the outside attacking people in reality, but
yeah, glorified Thad.
Yep.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed this match. Very, very fun. Scramble. I really want to see that second fracking rope tightened from like at some point. The fact that Clark gets on there to do that plex from the outside and the second rope goes down to the first, it's not safe. It's not safe. Tighten that fucking rope. Otherwise, this was a very solid match. It really set up for the rest of the show. I felt that the crowd was also the loudest for this match. We were very fired up for it.
And again, this isn't a shot at the whole show, but it just seemed like the crowd got a little quieter throughout the night. And like in the back half of the show, it just seemed like the crowd, while chanting for certain things, never really got back into the show. Personally, like I was chanting and cheering, but like it didn't feel like the crowd came back after intermission. Like
You know
the
how
crowd
our
was there.
crowd can be here, though? Edmonton is kind of like it can be a little weird because
It's more,
sometimes we are dead and quiet, even though we are enjoying it. It's more like a Japanese crowd, but then other
yes.
times we're like Philadelphia. Like it really depends on the match, the show, the people.
Well, that's a Japanese crowd though. Like they're quiet one thing, but then something big happens, they chant, 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 and then they
Hmm.
quiet down, and then they chant, 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 and then they quiet down.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Edmonton's similar in that way, except when
Hmm.
Don Callis is here, and then they just
Yeah,
boo him just over and over, and they just don't
yeah,
stop booing for like 10 minutes.
yeah, yeah. And that was a good long workout for a Melball.
It was, it was. So we are going to move on to our second match of the show.
Ah, look at
Oh,
that.
that's Ty winning. I figured I'd throw a little graphic in there for Ty celebrating.
There's so much happening in that photo. You got Thaddeus losing his mind in the back, Mars and Pride arguing, and then we got fucking Larry just doing his thing.
Larry and
TY
Rich.
just like, yay!
I love it. I love it. And like you get sad pissing and like you have Pride yelling at Mars, telling him, like you failed me or something. I assume to that point, but yeah.
Would make sense. I'd be annoyed. You just cost
We,
me my title. You were supposed to help me.
yeah. So we move on. Oop, yeah, there we go. There we move on to Thickness versus E. Thickness, Reed Matthews versus E. Lie, Surge. Thickness debuted his new gear at the Rumble show, at the Oil Rumble show. We didn't really take any notes on any of that, so that's why we're not
No.
covering it. So we just had a good time watching some wrestling and hockey, and we just kind of let it
Yeah.
be.
We were spoiled that day because thanks to our good friend Mike the Ref, he took us and all the backbreaker crew into one of those fancy pantsy boxes. So
Mhm.
we got like bottomless mac and cheese.
And
Oh,
like free drinks, free food. I was distracted by food at times during matches and the hockey game. So
it's
yeah,
fair.
we had a good time booing. We had a good time cheering. But
Yeah.
it just didn't we just went as just general fans. We didn't really take too many notes on that show. I actually
No.
only remember a couple of the winners, but yeah.
Same. Same.
Yeah, but Thickness did debut his new gear at that show.
Yes.
It's his green and black tights, and I didn't really get a good look at that show, but it came out in this show. I'm like, we knew from a source that it was Dragon Ball Z inspired.
Mhm.
So I'm watching it, I'm walking out, I'm like, oh, it's Cell. It's Cell from Dragon Ball Z. That's what it's inspired by. It's Cell from Dragon Ball Z. That's what it's inspired by. I absolutely loved it because you can see the knees, how that like
Mhm.
how the triangle on the knee or the diamond on the knee, that is Cell.
Mhm.
It and then the design of the legs, it's definite. I swear it's Cell. So Thickness, if I'm wrong, tell me, but I swear it's you're doing a tribute to Cell, one of the ultimate bad guys in Dragon Ball Z history.
It
So
would make sense. It
uh,
would make sense. Um, yeah, yeah. Keep going.
so Eli comes out and he wants to put hats on Thickness, and he gets one. Thick crushes it up. He goes for another one. Thick crushes it up. So they start wrestling, and then Eli goes for the third. Um, and he gets it on the Thickness's head, but Thickness takes it off and crushes it, and he just picks up Eli and just slams him with a harsh Uranagi. It was great. Shoulder block in the corner that Eli runs like, and he leaps up and he like hits the shoulder block in the corner while going through the rope sideways to land so he
Mhm.
can land on the apron. It looks so good. The guy
Mhm.
is
He did
so
that a
smooth.
few times in this one. I really like
Yeah.
that too.
And he goes right up and hits a beautiful high cross off the top. Thickness later on the match gets the seismic toss suplex and gets a 2 count out of it. Big old spear by Eli, but Thickness kicks out at
Mhm.
that 2.9. Eli misses a moonsault. Thickness hits him with the running knees to the face, hits the Blue Thunder bomb, and he gets the win.
Yes. Violence, violence, violence.
Thick what? Thickness.
Thickness has
Yeah.
just been one of our favorites for a very, very long time, even before LPW, and he's just gotten better and better and better. going forward. This was a fun match. This was the first time I've seen Surge in a hot minute. Talking about his birds, conspiracies, Looney Tune. But yeah, this match overall was really, really fun. I actually really enjoyed the speed of this one. I felt that they were playing off each other really, really well. This was one where I was disappointed that the crowd was a little quiet because I was like, these guys are working so freaking hard. They needed more noise and appreciation for how hard they were working because they were creating a story where there wasn't one in this match, which is something I love and appreciate because I don't like just having matches thrown together for the sake of having a match. You know, if you can create something within that to create almost like an episode or a fantasy or something in there, I tend to really, really appreciate it. And that's exactly what these two guys did for us.
Yeah. Again, really good match. Like Thickness always delivers whenever he's in the ring. The guy is so damn good. Yeah.
100%. And Most Birds Aren't Real is pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's great. We move on to the number one contendership gauntlet match. So we kick it off with Larry Woods versus Dean Richter. Larry getting that Bronco Buster in the corner to Dean. Beautiful choke bomb by Dean. Then he mounts and just raining down strikes on Larry until the ref pulls him off, and he yells at the ref, "Don't you keep your hands off of me!" And like, it was Stu, and Stu's just like,
yeah, Stu.
Harsh looking Germans by Dean Richter, and then a beautiful deadlift German to follow it up. Larry gets a victory roll out of the electric chair for 2, but then Dean comes back with the rolling elbow, dropping Larry just harsh. Beautiful, as Mel pointed out, so hesitation drop kick by Dean Richter.
My first gold star of the night.
Yeah, very much a Kenta move there. Larry fights back, hits a side effect, and the Eddie Guerrero senton over the top. Wheelbarrow facebuster by Dean Richter for 2. Dean goes for the rolling elbow, but Larry reverses into the Sawmaker and gets the win. This is when El Asesino's music starts to play. But out comes the Clandestine Society, Larry's heated rivals, I guess, now. And they start beating up on Larry. They put Larry's arm in a chair and hit it with another chair. So Larry's arm's all messed up. So we get the match of Larry Woods versus El Asesino, but we don't. Because Spencer announces that he was laid out in the back. So Larry wins by forfeit. I wonder who took him out. I wonder. So we get Larry Woods versus the next entrant, Birat Gorani. Birat tries to steal the pin right away because Larry's still like messed up from the beating. But he kicks out. Birat hits the off the shoulders into the face buster on the knee, like to spin out into the face buster on the knee. I think it was a Ty Dillinger move. I can't remember what it was called. But Larry kicks out. Birat kicking at the bad arm on Larry's attempt at the Sawmaker, and Birat finishes it off with the running Noam Dar style and Siguri, and he gets the win. It was a pretty short little match there between these two. So we move on to
No, I'm just hoping I remember all the thoughts that I have on all of these by the time we get to the end of it. Continue.
Go ahead. I'll let you give me thoughts on the Larry stuff, the first match, and this one, then before we move on to the Rich King match.
Well, I'm a big fan of Dean Richter. I feel like he's definitely he wrestles that style that I like, that kind of strong style, power kind of stuff. My biggest problem that I've always had with him is that in the RCW especially, he seems to pull his stuff. He was not pulling his stuff this night with Larry. Mind out of the gutter, sir. You know what I'm talking about. He was kicking him and not pulling back on the kick. He was striking him and not pulling back on the strikes. It looked great. And he was playing to the crowd a lot more at LPW than I've ever seen him play with RCW crowds. And I really liked it because he's kind of just coming into this company and we're not quite sure which direction he's going, or at least I'm personally not quite sure based on his performance. Which is he a heel? Is he a face? Is he in between? I don't quite know. Here he was making it a little bit more clearer that he was a bit of a heel in this one, and I liked it.
Mm.
The bit with Assassino, it just, I have criticisms. It didn't really make sense to me. You got how many refs out there holding back the people trying to protect the people in the ring, not paying attention to what's happening in the ring? You have Spencer there. It's like,
Well, yeah, my question was, why did Dean Richter try to come back out to save Larry? I was like, where was...
yeah, there was just a whole lot of nonsense that just kind of happened, and it was just like, so this is just going to happen? This is just legal? This is okay? What is this? It was a part that didn't make sense to me. Whoever scripted that pit, go back and try again. That was a failure, and it was a poor pull off too. It didn't. And then where were Ty and like Rich should have already been back there. They probably ran by Rich to get out there. So like, what happened? That it was a glorious chaos moment that wasn't so glorious. It didn't make sense to me.
Mm. It was like okay chaos, you know?
Yeah. It was okie dokie chaos.
Okie dokie.
The bit with B-Rat and Larry, again, confusing to me because like if he's injured, it should have been over right away. There was this whole play out where he kept kicking out, and I'm like, oh my God, we're going to see Larry versus Rich.
I was like, yes, let's do this.
Yeah, and I was stoked. I was stoked for this because, like, even though Larry's hurt, it could still work. It would still work, but we did not. And it was just kind of like felt like I don't want to say a letdown because I actually really like B-Rat's work, but like just based on what it was that we were served, it felt like the story didn't go where it was supposed to. It felt like an M. Night Shyamalan match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it almost seems like it's going to make sense, and then it just like plot twist off into the left field for no fracking reason. Yeah. Now we can go on.
Yeah. So we get into the final match in the gauntlet. It is Birat Goyati versus my trainer, Rich King. Rich is smashing the heck out of B-Rat. Stunner Sheik on the ropes. B-Rat's comes back, just beating up on Rich. There's a Northern Lights Northern Lights suplex into a Texas Cloverleaf by Rich King, but Sheik pushes in the ropes to B-Rat right in front of the ref. Like, Stu, you should have thrown Sheik out right there, you stupid jerk.
Yeah.
After attack on the floor by Sheik, B-Rat gets a suplex in the ring to Rich for 2. There's a big "Do It for Larry" chant going. There's a spot where I don't know what happened, but the announcer for the Twitch, he like slammed his hand down on the table and his pen went flying into the ring and it hit Stu in the face. I laughed so hard and I was like, thank you. I literally went up to him and said, thank you for hitting him in the face with a pen. He's like, I didn't mean to do that. It's like, doesn't matter. We appreciated it.
We appreciate it because that's what you get when you freaking just watch someone push the rope in front of someone's face.
Yeah, I don't know why he did it. I don't know what happened, but it was funny. I laughed my butt off.
It was really funny.
This is where Sheik finally gets ejected because he trips Rich blatantly in the middle of the match. Stu finally did something right, and he throws Sheik out. So Rich hits the flying lariat and does a kip up. Hits a final beat DDT for 2. Hits a Falcon Arrow for 2. B-Rat gets whipped into the corner and goes Ric Flair over the top. In the corner, it looked great. B-Rat fights back, gets a Houston hangover off the top for 2. It's the flip into the neck breaker, the front flip neck breaker. Vertically, so B-Rat goes back to the top, and we're yelling at him like, "You're gonna fail, you suck!" And B-Rat goes, "You turned on me." I'm like, "Yes, it's my trainer." And I've always been a big
priorities,
but it's Rich King, man. And Rich runs up, hops up from the mat to the top rope, that beautiful vertical leap. He's gonna teach me how to do that eventually. I'm gonna learn eventually. Uh, and he hits the belly off the top, does this double unhook spin out slam, and Rich King is your number one contender for the LPW Grand Championship, and now
Mhm.
even more conflicted.
Yeah, because if you don't cheer for Rich, what kind of punishment is he going to inflict upon you when you
Yeah,
start doing your training with him? Yar,
yeah. But then, but then
watch
I don't.
yourself.
But then I don't want to boo Blaze because he's he's literally legitimately my favorite wrestler of all time.
He's
Like
kind of being a dick right now, though,
I I've always cheered him when he was being a dick.
because didn't he run in afterwards? Couldn't help himself.
Yeah.
Couldn't help himself.
Yeah, that whole mess at the end of the night. Um yeah, so we go to intermission,
Mhm.
and then after intermission, we come back, and Ride or Die coming out and saying their opponents didn't show up. They're tired of their opponents' missed flights and cancellations and sicknesses. Um, so we get Eli Surgeon's music. I'm like, holy shit, we're getting Eli Surgeon for twice in a night. Let's go. I was ready to
Mhm.
have him. It was like, originally the match was supposed to be Ride or Die versus Jared Rogers and originally Son of Irish.
Mhm.
And I can't remember the gentleman. Gabe. There was he was replaced with Gabriel Fuerza. Like Irish was replaced with Gabriel Fuerza, but I guess he didn't make the flight. Rogers, from what I hear, might have a sickness or injury or something on the table, so he's not
Mhm.
there. So they're like, we'll just take the forfeit victory. So Eli comes out and says, I have two friends, and then he's talking about that their opponents not showing up might be a conspiracy. I was like, yes. And then he has a couple friends that he brings out, and he intros. I'm going to bring the graphic up. The Canadian Goose and Wolf Boy Will Mantla challenge Ride or Die for the tag team titles. I'm
Mhm.
going to be
I just
honest,
want to point out, if birds aren't real, how'd he meet Goose?
because he's not a real goose. Come on.
He honks like one.
So I'm going to give, okay, I got to give credit to Mantla and Goose in this match. They really
Mm.
got me into this match.
Mhm.
I'm gonna admit, I'm gonna say right here, I hate TFA. I and again, I'm not a professional wrestler. I'm a fan who watches from the sidelines. I respect anybody that can get in there and take bumps and do all that. I'm not taking that away from anybody, but I think she's terrible. Um, as a professional wrestler and as a character, I think she's just trash. As a person who I've chat with outside of wrestling, she's great. She's a nice person. I have no issues with
Mhm.
her. It's just I don't like her in the ring. I think it's that's my feeling. I just don't think she's good. Crow's pretty good. He's I think there's things he can improve on. But I'm talking about this from a purely a fan perspective. I'm not a professional wrestler. I haven't trained. I've taken like two bumps in my life when I was involved in professional wrestling. I respect anybody that gets in there and does it. I have the respect for her that she gets in there and does what she does, but I just can't stand her. I can't stand her character. I can't stand her work in the ring. That's a personal feeling. I'm saying it out loud. It's my personal feeling. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I I do have to agree with you. Outside of the ring, I have no problem with her. I think she's a great person, very nice to chat with. But I am finding myself underwhelmed with her performance. Um, that being said, though, this match was actually one of the better matches that I'd seen of her. Like
I
we
disagree.
disagreed. Yeah, we disagreed very actively and loudly and aggressively with each other during this match because there was a few things where you're like, that looked horrible. And I was like, I actually think that looked pretty good. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, I did appreciate the teaming of Goose and Wolf Boy though, because I've seen Goose kind of out and about with LPW, but I don't think I'd seen him like
this is his
really
first match.
get in the ring and do something. So it was nice to see him involved. And man, did he get the crowd fired up? I mean, the honking was the first time since the main event or for since the opening match that the crowd got really fired up again. And then Wolf Boy, I mean, he's still very, very new, but holy heck, did he put on a great performance? Did you take any notes on this one?
I took a few beautiful. It's actually a really okay. So I'll give TFA this: the shotgun drop kick to Will into the corner actually looked good.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, double underhook backbreaker by Crow into a lariat by TFA. Uh, Mantless slips out of the double team, hits a double drop kick. Goose with the bionic elbows and the Blade Runner to Crow. TFA and Crow take control with a double teaming on Goose. Crow grabs Will Mantla off a lion salt, but Goose pulls him down. He's going for a lion salt. Crow grabs him from the floor or from the apron, and then Goose pulling Crow from the floor, but
mm,
he gets kicked off or he gets baseball slided by TFA from the ring, and they end up slamming Will into the ring. There is a Widow's Peak and Swinging Fisherman by both of Ride or Die to their opponents, and they get the victory.
mhm, mhm. Um, yeah, as I said, I felt like this was actually the match that kind of brought the crowd back, and I did feel that it was a lot to do with Goose
Mm-hmm.
and Wolf Boy there. Again, I felt they performed very, very well, and Wolf Boy's not too long in this business either, is he? He just kind
Uh,
of.
I know he from speaking with like Rick Jules and Crowder at the when we were hanging out at the LPW show last weekend.
Mhm.
He was a MPW trainee for a while before he moved over to train with Clandestine. So he's been around a bit.
Oh.
So like he has some, but again, it's still not been in it a long time. It's
Mhm.
still he's still pretty early in his career. But I know he was an MPW trainee first, and
Mhm.
now he's working with Clandestine. So yeah,
It
um,
kind of seems to be the route that a lot of people kind of take around here. They start somewhere and then they go to clandestine or they go to top talent.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
My other
I mean,
issue. Oh,
no, no,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, go ahead.
My other issue is with Ride or Die is this crowd wants to cheer these two. I don't
Mm.
understand why. I don't understand why anybody wants to cheer TFA, but that's just again personal opinion. That's my opinion of her. It's my opinion of her in ring work. I don't like her. I don't think she's good.
Mhm,
But again, other people do. That's their prerogative.
mhm,
But the crowd wants to cheer for her. They want to cheer for Crow. Like this crowd is so invested in these people, and you can even find
mhm.
it that the crowd was cheering for Goose. Like when you would do the honk, people were honking, but
Yep.
otherwise, like you could feel them kind of like wanting when Pride or not Pride when Crow and uh, TFA did something, they wanted to cheer for them, but like the crowd was just kind of like because every time they do something, they'd flip the crowd off and but they weren't getting like a bad reaction back from the crowd.
Mhm,
The crowd just kind of stayed quiet because they were like, we want to cheer for you. Why are you flipping us off? And that's
mhm,
where this whole heel turn for them. I understand like Blaze going heel, but the heel turn for them was almost wrong in a sense because they like
mhm,
yeah. I don't know. I don't like them as heels because again, they don't. It doesn't fit right because the crowd loves these two and they
mhm.
want to cheer for them. But yeah,
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. There's like three main factions on LPW, correct? Seven, Clandestine Society, and Rads,
and
right?
then there's the tag team of Paralera.
Yeah, but like I'm talking like factions that have like more than just the tag people.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we're
Just
looking
that
at
I'm
three
aware of.
factions, and we have one that we know is actually face, which would be the Rads, because Seven
Who,
is obviously a heel faction, and
well,
Clandestine.
yeah, and the Rads are actually an incredible heel team when they're heels too. That's
Yeah,
the
it was a court ordered mandate, right, that they have to be faces now. Because could you imagine if you had three heel factions? My God,
well,
the it's already imbalanced. They have the opposite problem that Stardom has, where they only have one faction and like six face ones.
hmm,
Um, I do appreciate the rivalry that is creating, but like this match kind of felt, I think, for me, a little empty because we know that Ride or Die is not feuding
hmm.
with these two, that they're invested in their feud with the Rads. So it it kind of felt like this was like almost like this is kind of an inconvenience for us.
Hmm.
But otherwise, I thought it was a fairly solid match. I thought it got an opportunity to show off, especially Wolf Boy, quite a bit, and the show off the crowd control of Goose. Because whenever he started honking, people would honk back. Whenever he tried to get people to cheer, they cheered back. That was actually a problem for other people earlier in the show and later in the show.
Hmm.
But Goose, it was unquestionable. So that could be something that they could bank on.
Like Goose ain't the perfect guy in the wrestling ring, but he's fine. But like the dude has such a great character and ability
Yeah.
to like be a sympathetic dude. Like he can get you on his side. He can get you
Mhm.
involved. You can get you caring about him. He has that
Mhm.
just weird ability to make you love him. And I don't and
Mhm.
I hate that I hate cheering for him, but I love him so goddamn much. In real life, he's a really good friend. And oh, I hate cheering for him. I like to boo my friends. That's the thing. Whenever my friends
You
wrestle, I like to
do.
boo them.
You
And
do.
except for Rich, but I love
There's
booing Goose. But
consequences to booing Rich, though.
yes, but I want to boo him so much, but he makes me go, oh, I love you. I can't boo you.
You can't. He
It's
gives
so
you the
hard.
goose eyes.
Yeah, I know. It's so hard not to boo. It's so hard. Hurts me to cheer for him, but I can't not cheer for him. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
'Cause-
The struggle is real.
No, the struggle is long since left wrestling. We
Debatable.
move on. Semi-main event of the evening is for the LPW Challenge Championship. It's the insufferable Zoe Sager taking on Vert Vixen. Yeah, I said it. She's the insufferable. I hate her.
Oh gosh,
Like
that's
this,
funny.
okay, but I'm supposed to hate Zoe Sager, and I'm fine with it. But I hate her so much. I
She's a
didn't like her.
heel.
I didn't like her when she was a good guy, and I hate her even more as a bad guy. But but again, that's what I'm supposed to feel, and it's perfectly fine. Um, but man, do I hate this chick. She's a great wrestler, but I hate her so much. I just hate her.
Let's take it into the match and the stuff that you did like, because Vert
Yeah.
Vixen was hella fracking good.
Yeah, Vert out wrestling Zoe in the first couple of minutes, looking really good. Drop kick into the corner by Vert, and then just does that Jared Rogers like front flip kip up that he does.
Mhm,
She did
mhm,
that. Zoe gets in control, choking Vert Vixen on the ropes. She hits the Zoe is evil for two. The everything is evil by evil. She hits the Zoe is evil for two. Vert
mhm,
misses the roundhouse kick, but comes through with a beautiful tornado kick.
mhm,
Blue Thunder Bomb by Vert Vixen for two. Zoe reverses a suplex into a small package for two. Slingshot schoolboy into she's like a slingshot through into a schoolboy roll up and then turns it into a sharpshooter. Vert does this.
mhm,
But Zoe ends up fighting out and up and like twisting it back and up, kicking her way out of the sharpshooter. Really
mhm,
good there. Beautiful haluva kick in the corner by Zoe. Vert ends up stopping a Z Factor, hits the release German for two, running knee by Vert, and the Fisherman driver for again, but she only get two. Zoe
mhm.
then comes back, hits the Z Factor, and Zoe Sager retains the LPW Challenge Championship that she only won like 6 days prior or 5 days prior at the
Mhm,
LPW Royal Rumble from Travis Williams.
mhm, mhm. Just one aesthetic thing that I'd like to mention. I like the look of this belt better than the main one. The
Yeah,
main one kind of looks like cardboard or warbler or something. I really like this one. I've always liked it a little bit better. Um, yeah, I share the feeling that you have on Zoe. I'm not the biggest fan of her. Her in-ring work is incredible. Just everything else kind of again underwhelming. Although the promo that she cut in preparation to face Travis Williams was
mm,
actually by far in her entire career the best promo I have ever seen her cut. Because at no point in time did I go, you don't believe what you're saying.
mm.
And usually you get that instantaneously from her. Now, that promo, she was She was looking at the camera the whole time. She wasn't giggling at who was over here, who was over there, or whatever. She was serious. She was to the point. This is what I'm going to do. This is why I'm going to do it. And it was great. It was phenomenal. It's set up for the mesh. Great. When she won it, I was kind of like, well, that sucks because I wanted to see Travis Williams again. But she deserved it at that point for me because she did something really, she put in the work beforehand for me. Um, this match, really, really good though. I actually really enjoyed it. Maybe it was Vert Vixen being involved in it. She brings out a really good sense of, what's the word? Sense of urgency from Zoe to perform and do her moves. But I felt that this match was actually really, really solid, really, really good semi-main. The crowd did kind of come back alive in this one a little bit in setup for that main. But yeah, I really hope they bring back Vert Vixen. I would love to see her again, maybe in one of those scramble matches, because I feel like her experience in there would actually fit in really, really good with a couple other people there.
And I know Spencer did make a mention about her coming back.
Mhm.
So let's bring her back. And then please get us Billy
Starks?
Billy Starks, who was originally advertised in this match. Come on, get us Billy Starks there, boy.
She's got a bigger contract, though. He's not freaking Tony Khan.
Yes, but she is allowed to take indie dates. She had a contract when he had originally booked her. She had an AEW contract at that point when he booked her. So, and she's not even on AEW TV. She's on ROH. Like, she can take dates. I know she was probably working the next day at the Collision tapings or for the ROH tapings there, but like, god damn it, I really wish we could have got Billy Starks, man. I really like Billy Starks, but I was so happy to see Vert Vixen. She is so good, man. I've seen a bunch of her stuff through Defy and a couple others, and she is really good, man. I was so happy to finally get to see her in person.
Yeah. This was my first time seeing her personally, and she definitely sold me as a fan.
Yeah. So we move on to the main event of the evening. It is the LPW Grand Championship. Oh, and just a point on Zoe's title. That title predates this company because Spencer and Parrish used to go back and forth on their prediction show for WWE and WWE pay-per-views, and like whoever got the most predictions right would win that title. And that was a title they had made long before this company, this wrestling company existed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember hearing about that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I always I just find it funny that it dates back that Spencer is technically a former challenge champion, in my opinion. Because Parrish was the inaugural champion because he had it coming into LPW and he lost it, but in early on. So I consider Spencer a former champion, in my personal opinion.
It's nicer than this belt.
I like this belt, but yeah, the design of the Challenge Championship is just gorgeous, man.
It's as pretty as the NJPW TV title to me.
Oh, the Love title? The Challenge Championship or this one?
This one.
I might like this slightly more than the TV title because the TV title looks like a dinner tray. At least this one, like, it's at least just a flat look and it's clean. Versus that
flat
TV
dinner tray?
Yeah, but that fucking TV title looks just like amorphous trash. I'm sorry. It just does. I love Sabre holding it, but it just looks like trash.
We don't have to talk nicely about it. Sabre isn't holding it anymore.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It looks like trash. Like,
it
looks like somebody took a bunch of garbage out and like molded it together to make the TV title. Is what it looks like. This at least
take us into this main event, sir.
MRB versus Vaughn, our boy Eric's one of his favorite wrestlers, Vaughn Vertigo. I don't care if Blaze making out with his belt. Even when he used to do it before, it just makes me uncomfortable. I love this guy, but it makes me uncomfortable. Vaughn Vertigo gets a roll through out of Blaze gets a sunset flip, but Vaughn rolls out and then hits the PK and hits a standing moonsault. Looked really good. Blaze ends up on the floor, and Vaughn Vertigo walks over and he gets right up on the ropes, and he's like standing on the apron, like he's standing on in the inside of the ring, but he's on the apron, and Blaze yanks the apron out from under his feet, and he just goes crashing down. Looked really good.
That was a yoink.
It was a yoink spot. Blaze ends up slamming Vertigo, goes to the second rope, and drops the double knees on the back of Vertigo. Looked really, and gets a 2 count of it. So he goes up to do it again, and this is where Vertigo rolls it away, and I'm just like, oh. When Blaze landed on his just hardcore on his knees, I'm like, dude, you're going to end up like Matt Hardy, not being or like Tanahashi, not being able to walk properly, man. Oh, I guess Hardy's
Don't
more
even
his
get me
hips.
started on Tanahashi.
I guess Hardy, it's more the hips, but dude, Tanahashi's knees are wrecked. You're gonna end up liking him if you keep dropping knees on the mat like that, dude. Beautiful apron PK by Vertigo to Blaze on the floor, then puts him back in the ring, hits the Eddie Senton, goes up and hits the Hiroshi Tanahashi aces high for a 2. Vaughn gets it, reverses the as I always called it, the toasted bagel, but now known as the final consecration, into the bone lock, which is also known as that Gargano escape. But Blaze gets out. Blaze gets the cheeky Nando's kick in the ring, then gets a torture rack, but Vaughn slips down and hits the Dragon Suplex. Blaze hits the Spine Buster. He starts doing these like where he jumps up the air and just driving down the forearms to Vertigo. Vertigo fights off the superplex with a headbutt, but Blaze gets the knees up on the Swanton attempt. Vaughn reverses another final consecration into an Edge-O-Matic, which is the kind of inverted X Factor. Blaze misses the 450. Vaughn hits La Mystica into another bone lock, but Blaze gets to the ropes. Vaughn takes out TFA and Crow, sends Blaze out, hits the plancha, but I think Blaze got out of the way, and he hits the plancha onto Crow and TFA because Blaze threw Vaughn back in and immediately hits a kneecap brainbuster, then the running knee to the side of the head, but only gets 2. Blaze then bites on the fingers of Vaughn Vertigo, and I was just like, ew, you don't know where his fingers have been.
Yeah,
like,
don't
gross.
you put it in your mouth. Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't stuff it in your face. Don't stuff it in your face.
Yeah, don't do that. So Blaze sets Vaughn up in the corner upside down in the Tree of Woe, goes for his coast-to-coast flip kick thing, but Vertigo pulls himself up out of the way, and then he hits a swanton as Blaze is standing up and he's bent over. He hits a swanton to like a bent over standing Blaze, and then but misses a running knee. Blaze ends up like pulling his wrist tape off, and he's tying up Vertigo with the wrist tape. And then he's on the rest being distracted by Blaze. Crow runs Vaughn into the corner face first, and Blaze comes over, picks him up, hits the final consecration, and Michael Richard Blaze is still your LPW Grand Champion. So let's talk about the match before we get into the post-match stuff.
This was a fun one. I mean, when MRB is involved in a match, it's going to be exciting. But Vaughn Vertigo has also been one that I've been enjoying seeing both in LPW and Top Talent. He's been traveling quite a bit too. If you follow him on his socials, been all over the place, doing very, very well for himself. I expected this to be a high impact, high energy kind of match, and it did not disappoint in that.
I was telling Boris from SNME that I was watching his match. He's like, oh, because he's seen Vertigo multiple times in the Ontario independent scene. So he's like, oh, he's good. I'm like, yes, he is.
Yes. It's quite a treat to see Vaughn Vertigo, and even got Eric out. Our good friend Eric hasn't been down to an LPW show in a while. It's just quite far, a little expensive for him to go when he's kind of getting here on his own. Vaughn Vertigo, though, pulled him out of hiding. Came down to see him. Really, really great main event, I thought. I just don't like the title. Just don't like the look of the title, but the match itself was tremendous.
Oh yeah, these two just flowed so well together. And Vertigo said, we're watching on the pre-show before the show started, they were showing videos from the LPW website where they're doing interviews, and Vaughn Vertigo said, yeah, this is the first time they're getting a face, and and they just have that, and they just have the chemistry for the first time you've ever worked together. It's impressive.
Very.
So after the match, Blaze gets his book while Crow and TFA are holding Vertigo, and he gets the chain, wraps it on his hand. But Larry and TY come out. Crow ends up taking out TY. The clandestine group gang up and start beating on an injured Larry. Rich comes out, makes a save, hits the angle slam to Crow, and then Blaze is going to slide in to hit him with the belt, but Rich slams his foot down on the title, and Blaze is like, no, this ain't happening. But then Rich lets it go, and Blaze gets up, and they're talking, and he turns, and Blaze goes to hit him with the belt, but Rich ducks it, hits the Falcon Arrow to stop Blaze here. He gets the mic, says he's tired of the Rads being laid out. We got real issues. Mike, I have a problem with you. You've been given. I'm just typing as fast as I could, trying to get down most of what it is. Like, you've been given everything. Us Rads have had to work for everything. Once one of us got to the top, you couldn't stand it. I said Larry deserves that title, just like TY deserves the Scramble Championship. He won, but next month it's my turn, and I'm winning the LPW Grand Championship. I'm excited to see that match, man. Fuck.
It's going to be a banger.
I like that they did it this way and give us that promo right at the end. Let the challenger sell you on why he should be the next guy, why he does, like, yes, he earned the title shot, but let him sell you on why you need to come back and see him. I'll be there. Slam Boat Willie. It's Michael Richard Blaze versus Rich King. I'm excited.
Yeah, very, very smart and good way to end the show completely. Yeah, I am. The faction warfare is getting. It's interesting, but again, we only have kind of 3 factions that we're kind of mucking around with. I'm finding there's a bit of a limitation on story that we can kind of start throwing here. So I'm hoping that with this story, we see a little bit more of a kind of change in this story with Rich challenging MRB next month. I'm excited for that match, though. It's going to be fun to see him do that vertical jump on MRB.
Yeah. So again, in that next show, it's Slamboat Willie at the what's the place called we always go? On the south side. Oh, the Rec Room on the south side. My brain, I couldn't. It just escaped me. The Rec Room on the south side, February 23rd. Go to lovewrestling.com or Love Wrestling's website to check out the information on tickets and everything. There will be links in the description below if you want to check that out. Me, Mel, Andreas, and Kat already got our VIP tickets. We will be there. So if you come out, say hello. We always love seeing people and talking to people. Jason, you better gosh darn be there. We missed you on this one.
Yeah, it was suspiciously quiet without Jason.
I need to take pictures with you in cosplay. So we have entrance for our Jason Rutledge Award for next year, for the end of next year's award show, man. Come on, let's go.
Hard facts. And we're attending the show beforehand also, correct?
Yeah, well, no, that is in March. We're going to the March.
March.
Well, I could if I wanted to. I won't be busy. But yeah, that's the March Thursday show. They have announced Nicole Matthews versus Mike Bailey for the CW or the Clandestine Wrestling Society X LPW show. So yeah, that's on March 28th. I want to say. Yeah, March 28th. Yeah, on 30 March 28th and 29th is the normal LPW show. But yeah, that's going to be fucking insane. Mike Bailey and Nicole Matthews, East versus West. Oh, let's do it.
Yes, gonna be great.
But we have come to an end of another episode of Chop Talk. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here. Please keep liking the video, subscribing to the channel, commenting down below, sharing it out to all your friends, family, strangers, and random people on the internet, whatever. I don't care. And please don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can alert every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
I want to go upstairs.
It's warm now, sir.
But I have to go all the way upstairs to answer that doorbell. Leave it at the door. So you can find me on the X Master on Blue Sky and Hive at that Canada guy. TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at That Canada Dude. Facebook, you can find me right over here, Andre Melbo Wrestling Talk on Facebook. You can also find me on the YouTube page. Check us out over there. You can now check us out. And if you are listening to us on SNME Radio, thank you very much. If you are not, if you want to hear us in audio form, go to SundaysMainEvent.com, hit the RSS feed, and check it out. You can also go over and support them at patreon.com/SNME Radio. The new Patreon starts on February 1st. Check them out. Lots of new perks, lots of new great stuff going on over there. We're happy to be part of the family. I just got to be part of the Royal Rumble post show last night at the it was so much fun getting to hang out with Boris and Dax. Great time. So thank you both very much for having me there. So yeah, check them out. And if you are listening currently on Sunday's Main Event, please hit the subscribe button to the channel. Throw some comments on Apple and wherever you can leave comments. Leave some comments. We know it helps, and give them a 5-star rating. Thank you very much. You can also find this guy, me, over at Twitch or on twitch.tv/our local establishment, doing the Marvel Talk with my boy Ed, and doing the Japanese wrestling update with my girl right here. I almost pointed myself. My girl Melball. We do the Japanese wrestling update over there on OLE, breaking down some of the big stories there, giving you little snippets. And if you want the bigger, longer, uncut stuff, you come over here to hear us talk about it. You can check us out there. Also on YouTube at youtube.com/@our-local-establishment, and follow them on all the socials at OLE Podcast. And then a big shout out to our boy Mike, the Ref, the man, the myth, the legend, the man who's keeping me going in professional wrestling coverage for years. Check him out over there at youtube.com/@backbreaker video for all the great wrestling content. You might be watching us there right now, so please subscribe if you are. If you want to see all his live content, go to twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. You can see his AEW watch along every Wednesday. All his great gaming content you can find from him there. And then if you want to see replays of his gaming content or gaming content from others, you can go to youtube.com/@backbreaker_gaming, where you can find him, Mr. PJC, Mr. Rick Jules, and the freaking guest, Kayla J.
Kayla J. Love Kayla J.
Love Kayla J.
Love Kayla J. Love Kayla J.
Love Kayla J. Melba, where can they find you?
If you're wanting to follow a Melba, you can follow her on the X thing at Collins Melba. You can follow her. You can follow her on everything else: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also find me on our local establishments programming, Spooky Ookie-ish. When we start getting that up there, it's going to be this girl talking about some spooky shit. Come watch some spooky shit with me. You can also catch me on Astro Pizarro's YouTube channel, where we do our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase, all about the ladies. We were going to do an episode this week, but unfortunately Astrid was attending the Royal Rumble, so she was a little busy. So next week we're going to be dropping an episode because we got some stuff we need to talk about. What else? If you're wanting to attend a Love Wrestling show, you can go to lovewrestling.ca. You can find the links to tickets on there, and you can also find the links to the clandestine school if you're wanting to be a professional wrestler, referee, or whatever else that they teach there. Don't know if they do the management stuff as well. But you can contact them, see what they offer, and see if you want to take part. Andre, is there anything else?
No, just thank all y'all for joining us. We really do appreciate it.
Yes. That being said, I am your Melba. We didn't touch tips.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Did it.
And that being said, I am your Melba. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Mwah.